If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns are once again making headlines, and not exactly for the reasons their fans would hope. This time, it's a combination of front office decisions, player moves, and a bit of classic AFC North drama that's putting Cleveland in the spotlight. It all started with a relatively minor roster move, at least on paper, when the team announced they had waived offensive tackle Thayer Munford. But as we all know, in the NFL, nothing ever happens in isolation. Every transaction, every quote, every subtle jab between coaches and executives tells a bigger story about where a franchise stands, and more importantly, where it's headed. For the Browns, the message feels muddled, the direction uncertain, and the patience of the fan base wearing thin. Thayer Munford's time in Cleveland was short-lived, almost to the point of being forgettable. Signed off the New England Patriots practice squad back on September 24th, Munford was supposed to be a depth addition to a Browns offensive line that has quietly become one of the team's biggest question marks. Yet, since his arrival, he didn't suit up for a single game. In fact, he was inactive for 3 straight contests, never even getting the chance to contribute. That's not entirely surprising for a midseason pickup, but it's still a reflection of how unstable Cleveland's personnel decisions have been lately. Munford, a 7th-round pick by the Raiders back in 2022, had shown flashes of being a serviceable swing tackle. With 46 career appearances and 18 starts, he's not exactly a rookie learning the ropes anymore. He's a player who's been in the league long enough to understand his role, to fight for his spot, and to provide some veteran reliability when injuries inevitably pile up. Yet somehow, in Cleveland, he couldn't find a foothold. Now, if this were just about a depth lineman being waived, it might not even make a ripple beyond a short transaction note on the team's website. But what's happening in Cleveland goes much deeper. The Browns have been in constant motion this season, shuffling pieces, tweaking lineups, experimenting with schemes, and, let's be honest, searching for answers. And it's that sense of uncertainty that's become the defining trait of this franchise. The offensive line moves are just a symptom. The real disease might be inconsistency, indecision, and perhaps a bit of internal tension between the coaching staff and the front office. You can feel it in how they've managed the quarterback position or mismanaged it, depending on how you look at it. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Browns' offense was flat-out dreadful. 9 points. That's all they could muster in a divisional game that was supposed to be a statement opportunity. Rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel, who was thrust into a difficult situation, threw the ball 52 times. 52. That's a heavy workload for a first-year player still adjusting to the speed and complexity of NFL defenses. And while you can't blame the kid entirely, the game plan didn't do him many favors. The results were painful to watch. Just 4.3 yards per pass attempt. That's the kind of stat line that makes even the most loyal Browns fans wince. But the fallout from that game didn't end with the final whistle. Pittsburgh's head coach, Mike Tomlin, who's never been one to shy away from speaking his mind, took the opportunity to add a little salt to the wound. In his post-game comments, Tomlin didn't just celebrate the win. He aimed his sights directly at Browns general manager Andrew Berry. And let's be honest, it was vintage Tomlin. Cool, composed, but with that trademark edge. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, Tomlin quipped, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings. Ouch. That's not just a comment. That's a calculated shot across the bow. Tomlin was, of course, referring to the Browns' decision to trade veteran quarterback Joe Flacco. Yes, that Joe Flacco, to a divisional rival. It's one of those moves that, even in hindsight, still doesn't make much sense. Sure, Flacco wasn't lighting up the stat sheet. In fact, by most metrics, he was among the least effective starting quarterbacks in the league this season. But trading him to a rival like Pittsburgh? That's the kind of move that gets people talking, especially when it's followed by a loss to that very same team. You can bet Tomlin enjoyed every second of that irony. The deeper issue, though, is what this says about Cleveland's internal philosophy. There seems to be a growing disconnect between Andrew Berry's vision for the roster and what the coaching staff, and perhaps even the players, are trying to execute on the field. It's almost like 2 different blueprints are being followed at the same time. One is focused on the long-term rebuild, the slow accumulation of assets and draft picks, while the other is fighting for immediate results in a win-now league. The problem? Those two approaches rarely coexist peacefully. Barry has made bold moves, no doubt. Trading for Kenny Pickett was one of them. The idea seemed to be that Pickett could offer stability and leadership, maybe even become a reclamation project that would pay off in the long run. But instead of letting him heal fully and develop under the system, the Browns pulled the trigger too soon on another move, sending him away before he could regain full strength. Add to that the decision to draft not one but two rookie quarterbacks, and you have a quarterback room that feels less like a plan and more like a collection of experiments. And then there's the irony of the Joe Flacco situation. Yes, Flacco's numbers were ugly. No one's disputing that. He looked slow, his reads were hesitant, and at times, it seemed like the game had simply moved past him. But what the Browns are realizing now is that even a struggling veteran brings something intangible: stability, experience, a steadying presence in the locker room. You can't quantify that in yards per attempt or QBR. And right now, that's exactly what Cleveland's missing: a steady hand to guide this turbulent ship. When you zoom out, the problems go beyond individual players. This is about structure, philosophy, and identity. The Browns have talent, nobody doubts that. They've got playmakers on both sides of the ball, and when they're clicking, they can hang with almost anyone. But the inconsistency is maddening. One week they look like dark horse contenders. The next week they're back to square one, struggling to move the chains and giving up head-scratching plays on defense. That kind of volatility doesn't happen by accident. It starts from the top, from the decisions being made in the front office, from the relationships between coaches and executives, from the clarity, or lack thereof, in what this team is supposed to be. Mike Tomlin's jab might have sounded like simple trash talk, but beneath it lies a truth that should sting in Cleveland's headquarters. When your division rivals are questioning your roster moves, and doing it publicly, that's not just gamesmanship. It's a reflection of perception. Around the league, the Browns are starting to look like a team that doesn't quite know what it wants to be. And perception in the NFL matters almost as much as performance. It affects free agency decisions, player morale, and even the fan base's belief that things can ever truly change. Right now, that belief is hanging by a thread. Browns fans have been through enough heartbreak to recognize when something's off. And this season has that familiar feeling of déjà vu. The defense can only carry so much of the weight before cracks start to show. The offense, meanwhile, feels disjointed, searching for rhythm, for leadership, for someone to set the tone. Dylan Gabriel has potential, sure, but throwing him into this storm without a clear direction feels unfair, both to him and to the team. Waiving Thayer Munford might not seem like a big deal in the grand scheme, but when you start stacking these decisions together, the constant churn of players, the revolving door at quarterback, the mixed messaging from the front office, it paints a picture. A picture of a franchise still trying to figure out what stability looks like. That's what separates teams like the Steelers and Ravens from the Browns right now. Pittsburgh and Baltimore don't always have the most talented rosters, but they have identity, structure, and leadership. They know who they are. Cleveland? Still searching. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one bad game, one waived lineman, or one sarcastic comment from a rival coach. It's about a pattern, one that's become all too familiar. Until the Browns find alignment between their front office and coaching staff, until they commit to a clear quarterback strategy, until they stop overthinking every personnel move, they'll keep spinning their wheels in the same muddy field. Mike Tomlin's jab might have been tongue-in-cheek, but the truth is, he doesn't need to say much. The scoreboard and the standings already speak loud enough. And for Cleveland fans, that's the hardest part. They've seen this movie before. Different names, same story. Talent wasted, opportunities missed, and rival coaches smiling on the other sideline. Maybe someday that will change. But today, it feels like the Browns are still trying to find their footing in a league that doesn't wait for anyone to figure it out. And until they do, expect more headlines like this: roster shuffles, locker room tension, and the kind of drama that makes for great YouTube content, but terrible Sundays in Cleveland. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Hold on to your seats, NFL fans, because the rumor mill has officially exploded with what could go down as one of the most shocking trades in recent memory. A.J. Brown, the dynamic wide receiver who has been tearing defenses apart in Philadelphia, is reportedly on his way to Cleveland. Yes, you heard that right. The same A.J. Brown whose catches have left cornerbacks spinning, whose speed and physicality make him nearly impossible to contain, is allegedly traded to the Cleveland Browns in a deal that insiders are calling historic. We're talking about a trade that could redefine the AFC landscape, a move that might make Cleveland an overnight contender and leave Philadelphia fans scratching their heads in disbelief. Sources close to the situation are buzzing with details, though nothing has been fully confirmed by the franchises yet. But the chatter is too loud to ignore. The Browns, a team long in search of a true superstar wideout to complement their offensive arsenal, may have finally found their answer in A.J. Brown. If this deal goes through as rumored, it could be a seismic shift for the team, not just in terms of talent, but in the mindset and expectations around Cleveland football. The trade talks, according to whispers inside league circles, have been ongoing for months, with both teams weighing the potential risks and rewards. Philadelphia has been grappling with salary cap concerns, roster balance, and the need to retool their receiving core, while Cleveland has been scouting the market for an impact player capable of stretching the field and changing the dynamics of the passing game. A.J. Brown, with his combination of size, speed, and elite catching ability, fits the mold perfectly. Rumor has it that the Browns were persistent, making multiple proposals, each one more aggressive than the last, until a deal finally materialized that could send shockwaves through the NFL. The whispers suggest a complex package, likely involving draft picks and possibly other players, designed to make the Eagles feel comfortable letting go of a player who has been central to their offensive success. And while the financial details remain murky, sources hint that the Browns are fully committed to making this work, signaling that they see A.J. Brown as more than just a player. They see him as a cornerstone of their offense for years to come. Fans in Cleveland are reportedly already buzzing on social media, speculating about what the Browns' new-look offense could be with A.J. Brown running routes alongside their quarterback. Imagine the possibilities. A receiver who can dominate one-on-one matchups, create separation at will, and haul in contested catches that other players wouldn't even attempt. The Browns' passing game could suddenly transform into one of the most feared units in the league, drawing attention from analysts, rivals, and casual fans alike. Meanwhile, Philadelphia fans, while still in shock, are already discussing the implications for their team's strategy moving forward. Could this open the door for younger receivers to step up? Will the Eagles shift focus toward other offensive weapons, or are they preparing for a rebuild that starts now? The rumor mills are spinning at full speed, and everyone is waiting for the official announcement, which sources say could happen any day now. Until then, speculation and excitement are at an all-time high, with every pundit, blogger, and social media influencer weighing in on what this trade could mean for the future of both franchises. But let's not ignore the human element here. A.J. Brown himself has been at the center of this whirlwind, and rumors suggest he's both excited and motivated by the prospect of joining the Browns. A change of scenery, a new offensive system, and the chance to be a focal point in a team looking to make a serious playoff run. These factors could be a game-changer for him personally. Sources claim that insiders close to Brown are buzzing with optimism about his potential fit in Cleveland. Imagine the dynamic matchups he could create, the highlight reel catches that would dominate sports news cycles, and the leadership role he could assume within the locker room. Brown has always been known for his work ethic and his ability to elevate the performance of those around him. And now the speculation is that the Browns' offense could reach new heights under his influence. Analysts are already theorizing how the coaching staff might adjust schemes to maximize his talents, and the excitement is palpable even without an official press release. Then there's the broader ripple effect of this trade. The NFL is a league defined by momentum, matchups, and perception, and a move like this can alter the trajectory of entire conferences. If A.J. Brown thrives in Cleveland, it could force other teams to reconsider their own roster strategies, defensive alignments, and draft priorities. We could see ripple effects not just in the AFC North, but across the entire league, with teams suddenly reevaluating how they plan to defend against a Browns offense that now has one of the premier wide receivers in the game. Meanwhile, Philadelphia will be scrutinized for how they replace such a critical offensive weapon, and the trade chatter will likely dominate sports talk shows, podcasts, and social media threads for weeks. Rumors are already flying about potential replacements, but insiders caution that finding a player of Brown's caliber won't be easy, meaning the Eagles could face an uphill battle to maintain their offensive potency. Sources who have been tight-lipped until now are starting to hint that the official announcement may include additional surprises, perhaps another player moving with Brown, or draft compensation that signals Cleveland's determination to make a splash. The speculation is relentless. Could this be just the beginning of a bigger shakeup for the Browns? Are they signaling to the league that they're ready to compete at the highest level immediately, rather than building slowly over seasons? Every detail, real or rumored, is being dissected by fans and analysts alike. Meanwhile, social media posts from insiders and team commentators hint at a deal that could change the narrative for both teams. In the sports world, where buzz and momentum often carry as much weight as wins and losses, this trade, real or imagined, is already a headline grabber. As the rumor continues to swirl, it's impossible not to get caught up in the excitement. The Browns, long viewed as an underdog team with flashes of potential, might now be poised to make a serious statement. A.J. Brown's alleged arrival could be the missing piece that elevates their offense into a league-wide threat. Fans are speculating about record-breaking plays, game-changing touchdowns, and highlight reels that will dominate highlight shows and social feeds for weeks. Philadelphia, meanwhile, faces a different kind of anticipation. How will they react? Will they pivot, rebuild, or double down on a strategy that has served them well in the past? The storylines are endless, and the rumor, whether confirmed tomorrow or next week, has already set the sports world ablaze. In short, whether you're a Browns fan imagining A.J. Brown making one-handed catches in the end zone, a Philadelphia fan wondering how your team moves forward, or simply a casual observer enjoying the drama, one thing is certain. This rumor is huge. The NFL thrives on stories like this: unexpected trades, superstar movements, and the endless chatter about who is going where. If the reports are accurate, Cleveland could very well be entering a new era, one where A.J. Brown isn't just a player on their roster, but a symbol of ambition, change, and the relentless pursuit of victory. Philadelphia, on the other hand, will have its own story to tell, a story about adaptation, resilience, and the challenges of letting go of a superstar. For now, all eyes are on the league offices, the team press releases, and, of course, A.J. Brown himself. The excitement is real, the speculation is rampant, and the potential for historic outcomes is undeniable. So, while nothing is technically official yet, insiders insist that this could be a defining moment for both teams, a trade that changes more than just the rosters. It could alter the narratives, the rivalries, and the entire conversation about who is truly competitive in the NFL. As the rumors continue to swirl and the social media storm rages, one thing is clear: the NFL world has a new story to watch unfold, and at the center of it, in all likelihood, is A.J. Brown, now a name that might soon be synonymous with Cleveland Browns' greatness. The countdown to confirmation has begun, and when it finally happens, expect the sports world to erupt. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!